All right. So our first review of the day is going to be for the film Sinners. Sinners is the fifth film from Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, people know him from such movies as Black Panther, Creed, Fruitvale Station. And he's this movie here is a little bit different turn from what we normally see from Ryan Coogler. Here, it takes place in 1930s Mississippi. Here, following two twins who are gangsters, both played by Michael B. Jordan here in 1930s Mississippi. It is what we call more of a Southern Gothic horror type tale that you have here going on here. I don't know how much of a spoiler it is to say who the enemy is in here, who the person, because some people may not know they're who the main person they're going against. Some people watch the trailer and go like, "Oh, I didn't know that this villain was going to be in it in this film here." But you do have an antagonist that kind of comes in here in the film, and it kind of takes place over the course of basically one day that you have here, where these characters have a juke joint, which is basically just like a club, and they have to survive over the night this onslaught of creatures that are coming to attack them during this here. So that's kind of the setup you have of this film, Sinners. And I'll pass around, get you guys' thoughts on this. Chris, what are your thoughts on Sinners?
If I'm not mistaken, this is sorry, Ryan Coogler's first original story since Fruitvale Station. Because after Fruitvale Station, he did the Rocky franchise with Creed. He did the MCU with Black Panther twice. And now, once again, but last time he was in this position, he wasn't Ryan Coogler. Fruitvale was his first kind of claim to fame that got him Creed. So to see him now here with Black Panther behind him, Creed behind him, and he's showing what he is truly capable of. He can play with different genres. He can add soul. He can add depth. He can take something that we've seen before and add to it. He can capitalize on it. He can include his own cultural background. He can include what he knows about his history. And it's $90 million and 2 hours long, like 2.5 hours long. Just great vision, great artistic choices. Everyone's talking about that one scene in particular. I'm going to try to talk about the film without spoiling it, but I will admit there was a trailer that the second trailer is spoiler. We do see that Hailee does get bit, and there's others who get bit. Like the trailers show you who gets bit. So, I personally really enjoyed it. Yeah, that was great.
Stokes.
Wait, so is this a spoiler free or spoiler?
Spoiler free.
Oh shit! I thought. Oh, okay. Word. I'll copy. All right. Yeah. So glad I knew that. I thought it was spoiler, but yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. For me, I have a lot of thoughts. The sequence in question, I think, is for me one of the best movie scenes I've ever seen in my life. In terms of where it's put in the film, the execution of it was perfect. I think about the concept of spectacle. I got Nope in my head, thinking about spectacle. Now, no, I'm thinking about the Deadpool 3 scene. Because these scenes are pretty similar if you look at them, the way they're structured, like in the way that they build and stuff like that. And that Deadpool 3 side, like one shot take scene was so vapid. It had nothing going on. It was so empty. And this is like rich. Every single second builds upon it. I was really moved. I started crying. I was really, to me, that is right now the best movie scene I've ever seen in my life. This is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life, for sure. Ludwig is a genius, and they've even worked in multiple music genres, all throughout the movie. That was insane. This is one of the best movies I've seen this I would say this decade for sure. To me, it's this everything everywhere all at once, and those are the would be in contest, in contest for the best movies of the decade. So I think Ryan Coogler, I'm like, yo, you had this in you the whole time. Like it really makes you kind of look back at Black Panther 1 and 2 and be like, that was a waste of time. Like that you couldn't really make the movie you wanted to make. We can tell it's so evident in while watching the movie. So this will probably end up being my favorite movie of the year, the best movie of the year. And now I think we start talking, Jordan Peele versus Ryan Coogler, which I think was a conversation before, but I think it's over for our boy Jordan Peele. I think he's cooked. At this point, he's fried.
Yeah. See, man, that's what the movie was trying to teach you, man. Stop putting black people against each other, man. You're doing that.
That is not what the movie was trying to say. Not what the movie was trying to say at all. Well, I think it's fair though, because Jordan, you don't get this movie without Get Out, and so I think it's a warranted comparison. And obviously, like, I think in comparison, you can kind of highlight what both do. But to me, this is better than Get Out, like, because it hits a lot of the same notes. It hits similar notes, but it also has that spectacle and that wow factor that puts it over for me personally. And the soundtrack, everything, the whole package is just amazing. I'm curious how y'all felt about Michael B. Jordan, because he is the only thing his acting. I feel like his acting was a little spotty in terms of this could be a Oscar winning performance, but I don't think he hit all the that accent is a little shaky for me. I don't know what y'all.
Yeah. I'm shaky like him right now, trying to.
Yeah.
This thing right there.
Hold that accent. And it's funny because he plays too, like at summer. I mean, and also shouts out to him. This is definitely like a great performance. I feel like with them playing twins, like I felt like he was better at certain things with Smoke. Like Smokey had the physicality, and then Stack, you had that classic kind of Michael B. Jordan charisma to him,
Yeah. So Smoke and Stack are the two twins here that you see, both played by Michael B. Jordan here. And like you mentioned, so Stack is more of the measured, calm one that you see, more of maybe the brains there, and then you have Smoke, who's more of the impulsive one, or is it flip? Or is Stack is the So Stack is the one with the gold tooth, and then so Stack is more the impulsive one, and then Smoke is more of the measured one there, as you can see in it. And you see that there are two kind of distinct personalities. And I know you said at one point before this movie came out, you were worried a little bit about Michael B. Jordan and whether he'd be exposed as an actor, and how, I guess, what's his range as an actor and how far it kind of goes there with that. Chris, what do you think about Michael B. Jordan in this?
Yeah, I tweeted that I've been critical of him watching movies with my brother.
To follow you home.
We both agreed. Well, my brother said it, and I agreed. For a while, he was a one-trick pony. He was kind of he has this Brad Pitt curse, where like Hollywood thinks because he's handsome, he has to play the handsome guy all the time, and he gets a lot of these cut and dry roles, and he kind of gets pigeonholed and does the same thing, whether if it's that awkward moment or that movie where the friends get powers and one of them turns evil, and like Chronicle. And yeah, I want to name another one, but even his Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four, that really bad movie, he was kind of doing the same old thing. So when he did Killmonger and he finally transformed himself, the way he walked, the way he talked, facial expressions, his voice, I was like, finally, he's tapping into something different. This is the best thing he's ever done. And then I saw Sinners. I was like, okay, so he's fully capable. Well, maybe he's getting better. Maybe he's getting better as he gets older, because maybe he wasn't always fully capable. But as someone I know what it's like to have a scene partner who's better than me, and I know what it's like to have my game raised by working with someone who's better than me. Someone who, like a better actor who knows how to create a space, who knows how to make the scene feel real. That helps me make the scene feel real, and that kind of raises my game. When the thing with Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan was acting opposite Chadwick Boseman, a brilliant actor. He was acting opposite Angela Bassett, a great actor. Forrest Whitaker, a great actor. Daniel Kaluuya, a great actor. Like that's why he was. I think that's why he was so good in Black Panther. His all his scene partners were fantastic actors, and they kind of raised his game. Like he had no choice but to like kind of be better. And now we get to Sinners, and he's working opposite Delroy Lindo, who's a great actor. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of research they went into him and Coogler. I know they work well together, but Michael B. Jordan, I agree. The accent was pitchy at some point. Sometimes he lost it. Sometimes it was just his voice. Um, but he definitely this time around, once again, he tapped into something that was outside of himself, and I was like, all right, this is good. This is good. I can now take back the one trick pony comment, and because for a long time I couldn't put him, like, I like him, he's likable, he's a movie star, but I couldn't put him on the same tier as Chadwick Boseman, Daniel Kaluuya, Mahershala Ali, like really great, like actors. Even I'll even put John Boyega up there, Idris Elba, like those guys. But he's definitely getting better, So I'm really proud of him and Coogler. This was definitely an achievement.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
I think the California accent would poke through. You know what I'm saying, when he was playing. I don't think he's still not in the like he. I think he's better than John Boyega, and I think he's almost like a Tom Cruise to me in the sense of because Chronicle, he was great. He was amazing in Chronicle because it was the first time we had seen it, and when he's just being charismatic, he's almost like Will Smith. I think Will Smith is probably a better actor, maybe, but I think that's his kind of his archetype. And frankly, he's kind of branched out more than Will Smith ever has with working with Coogler. But I think that's in the conversation he's in. But like when it comes to being charismatic and having physicality, he's phenomenal. That's when the movie's at its well, that's when he's at its best. Um, so yeah, I think it's a B plus. I think you named a bunch of actors like Chadwick Boseman is better. Like Chadwick Boseman is probably the only actor though I think who could have done this, like who could have played that has the charisma of Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But would he have the physicality? Like it's almost like this is the perfect role for Michael B. Jordan because you need somebody big. I was thinking about Don Cheadle, young Don Cheadle. I think young Denzel would be the perfect casting for this, of course. Like but Don Cheadle's, but would he have the charisma? Would he have the swag? Would he have the physicality? So I think you got to give him physicality is a trait. Jackie Chan, like that part of that was his physique. I mean, The Rock isn't doing like the most interesting stuff, but that as well. So that's a skill.
For sure.
And Chris mentioned this cast here. So you got Hailee Steinfeld who shows up. People might know Hailee Steinfeld. She's the voice of Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Verse movies there. She's also shown up in movies like Edge of 17 as well there. You have Jack O'Connell who's in this as well. He plays an Irish person in this there. And he's also been in things like you might have seen him in he was in Died. He was in United there, Jack O'Connell. You mentioned Delroy Lindo there, legendary actor there. The Five Bloods is something he was in. You have Wunmi Mosaku there.
Saku,
Um,
so cool.
she was from Loki there. She was in that. She part of the TVA in that show. So really, really great cam. Omar Benson Miller there. A lot of black millennial kids will know him. He's been in tons of stuff there as well, especially as a kid actor all the way up until now. Really, really there. But yeah, you have him in this as well. So yeah, really great cast you have in this movie there, and everybody I think plays their role really well there. And Also, you mentioned the soundtrack and how much music kind of plays into this, and how that kind of is woven into this as well, and kind of this. When I started off by saying it's this southern kind of gothic type tale, you have this kind of folklore that's brought in here, this mythology, this lore as well, with this associated with the roots of this region of the South, and of being in Mississippi there, that you have kind of come in, and this is a really great scene where you have the character Sam. He's played by Miles Canton, and this is his acting debut, by the way, for this young actor there. And this is a scene where he's playing the guitar, and then it turns
Do
into
you want to spoil this? I would let people.
oh, let people watch that. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
but it's a great sequence there of how it connects everything there, past, future, present, which it's a really great scene there, and yeah, I thought that was kind of really well done, and how that's kind of used there as well. Yeah, and the way this movie is shot, and Ryan Coogler also has made a big point with this movie coming out of it being shot in these IMAX cameras, these special cameras for this movie. I did see it in IMAX. Did you guys see it in IMAX?
It was like Regal, like bootleg. It was like RPX or whatever. I guess like it was. It looked like a big screen to me. You know.
Okay. What about you, Chris? Did you end up seeing it in IMAX?
I want to see it in IMAX. I just saw it like in a regular theater. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. But seeing it in IMAX, I recommend people, if people want to spend extra money there. I recommend, if you are going to see it, do see it in IMAX. There, you really get to see the full glory of this movie and the way it kind of looks there. With this. So yeah,
I also want to see Warfare again, but in IMAX, because that show of force moment, and I don't know if anyone has seen Warfare, but yeah, that's also would be a good IMAX movie.
I'll see that tomorrow. I'll see that tomorrow there.
You'll know what I mean when I say show of force. Cover your ears.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, do you all think that this is Ryan Coogler's best film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of easily.
Wow.
Kind of easily. He's not shackled to a franchise, and he's free. He had creative control. He did whatever he wanted to do, and it shows. Like, I'm watching The Studio on Apple TV, the Seth Rogen show. I don't think he got any notes. I think he was free to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, and it shows. This was great.
People are loving it. It's got an A cinema score. It's close to 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like a 98, 99%, something like that. So it's super high rating. It's the highest, I think, rating he's had in his career there.
I don't say this lightly. I do not say this lightly. The only reason you could not like this movie is if you're racist. There's no way. It literally, like, I'm like, it is so well done, and I know I'm like, you're not even calling it woke yet. Like, it's that good. Like, so it's like, yeah, if you don't fuck with this, you low key racist, bro. Like, and also that scene in particular, it's interesting because if Martin Scorsese directed that scene, I was scared that, because this is a black movie, they wouldn't grant it the same creative license or creative freedoms. And I was like, well, Martin Scorsese did this, it'd be popping, but it is popping, but also Martin Scorsese, you couldn't do this, or he wouldn't do this. It's really bold. It's really bold in the way that I don't think any other movie, to be a period piece, the licenses it takes is super fucking risky. In the scene we're alluding to, that shit couldn't have been cheap. Like, that had to be like weeks of filming. Like, it had to be. So yeah, shouts out to Ryan for sure.
Yeah. And Javon gets it. So I'm guessing his worst movie is Black Panther 2. You think that's his worst one?
Yeah.
And it's still not a terrible movie considering what he had to do. Like, in terms of pivoting and changing the story completely to do something new, to honor Chadwick and still kind of push forward the narrative of Black Panther within the MCU, it was still cohesive. Like, he's a talented man. Like, yeah, put him in the worst situation, he'll still make something presentable.
And thankfully, this movie was so good, you'll give him a mulligan for BB2. Because I did think that movie was pretty bad, but obviously the circumstances were what they were.
Yeah.
But if this was like, if you look at what's the Russo brothers, They had like 2 flops like immediately after. It's like, yo, you're they're calling on MCU merchants,
Like,
and then this guy
yeah,
not
like
falling apart.
after Endgame, it was Cherry with Tom Holland, that really bad war movie. Um, yeah, and then the Gray Man, it was like a '90s B movie kind of action thing. And then what was the other thing they did? There was like a third thing they
The
did,
Electric State.
like that. Yeah, a lot of whatever they do outside of Marvel, it's not good.
It's like, yeah, y'all just need each other, right? Like y'all are like, do you think the toxic couple they get away from each other, they're still toxic? It's like, nah, y'all need to stay together. But then y'all need the power.
They did Winter Soldier, and they did Infinity War, and they did Civil War. I'm like, wow, those are good movies, but like
Great movies.
anything outside, I don't know. They don't have it.
I guess Ryan Coogler, he still got it there. He ended up doing a film there before Marvel did there. Yeah, good one, great one. I'll go around, get you guys' thoughts on this. We could get in a little bit of a spoiler talk there, because I think just to talk more about the cultural influences and that kind of on the film, I think is very important to discuss. So, Chris, what'd be your final thoughts and rating for Sinners?
So I really liked the spirituality. Light spoilers. The very beginning of the movie, there's a line. Some music is so powerful it can pierce the veil between past, present, and future. The way Ryan Coogler took that line of dialogue and made it the through line of the entire movie, like I said before about depth and soul, it is on the surface. It's a vampire horror movie. It's watching the film. That's not what it's about. It's about community, and it's about celebrating the blues. It's celebrating the power of music, because there was this, again, no spoilers, but there's a scene where the antagonist, the monsters, start singing, and I forget they're the bad guys for a second. That's the power of music, because I was like, why am I enjoying this? They're the bad guys. Why am I tapping my foot and bobbing my head? Because I like that song. That's why. And that's the power of music, and that's the point of the movie. I'm like, and Ryan Coogler captured that, and like he got me. So that's, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but 5 stars, really? Everyone's giving it 5 stars. We get to the very end, and the ending kind of, it doesn't recontextualize the movie, but it adds a new swell of emotion. And when that swell of emotion came in, I'm like, yeah, 5 stars. Yeah, five stars on Letterboxd. I put it above Magazine Dreams as my new favorite film of the year so far. And yeah, whatever. What's your highest rating?
This is cinema.
And what's your second highest rating?
Peak.
Oh boy, I didn't know that was your grade system.
You know what? I'll give it the Martin Scorsese cinema.
Yeah.
This is cinema.
And then there's a meme going on where it has the Sinners, and it's like cinema.
Cinema.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
They have that kind of going on. Wow. So you give it.
Wunmi Mosaku was also in Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
Which this movie had those kind of, period piece, but black people dealing with the supernatural, but the supernatural is a vehicle for racism. I liked it. Yeah.
I don't think it. Well, I'm not. Well, respectfully, disagree. I think that's why the movie works exceptionally well. I don't think it like with Lovecraft Country, because I did not like Lovecraft Country.
It was a little.
That show was exclusively about like supernatural and race, and it got muddled, and it was. This really isn't. For me, when I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is just a siege movie versus vampires, right? Like, to me, that's what I saw. Or this is like From Dusk Till Dawn, right? Like, and I was like, to me, the weakest parts of this movie were when it is kind of just almost a straightforward, when there's not music playing, it's like, oh, we got to survive. Those parts are not the best parts of the movie. But when you hear the bad guys talk, they're like, they're not even racist. They're not, I mean, like, it's almost more about culture than, right? And obviously those things are intertwined, of course. But I think that's why people aren't calling it woke, because it's not like, ooh, the scary white people are going to take the music away. It's like, nah, the white people were like, yo, we want some of that. Like, we want that blues. And then they fucking play some music. You're like, yo, this shit is some heat. Like, you think you're going to play some off-key shit? Oh, no, they were fucking vibing.
They were good.
Mm.
Oh no.
So, yeah. What about you, Steps? What will be your rating?
Okay. I'm gonna say this is cinema, but I'm with an eye roll. Uh, uh, I was thinking about this. They call everything this is cinema, and then you get video games that play like movies and stuff like that. But I'll say it's this is cinema. If I had a number grade, I think what is stopping this from being like in the conversation for me to for best movie of all time is those spots with the where Michael B. Jordan's a little shaky, you know what I'm saying? Like where the California creeps out a little bit. And some of it is also like there's a part in the action scene towards the end. We know there's six characters, like or so characters. There's a finite amount of characters, and then somebody gets eaten by a vampire, and you're like, well, it can't be. There's only so many people in this room, right? And it's like that's just a random guy, like that. It felt very like okay, you this is still kind of a little shaky, but this is like almost nitpicking. Like, but once a movie is the best of all time, you start to nitpick. So I said to say I think it's a 9.2 out of 10. I would say. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's one of the best movies of the year. Well, it's still early. This is one of the best movies of the decade. The soundtrack is great. I'm gonna
Wow.
recommend everybody. And I think what like everything all at once, and this kind of a similar thing where it's like, whereas that movie was exposing me to a different culture. This one is like, oh no, this is I'm not from Mississippi. I would not go fucking 500 miles within Mississippi, but like the blues, the blues, and then not only do they have that element, they quadruple down, they quintuple down on that. So I like it's like almost like yeah, I gotta give this a high grade, and I don't know. I know people like I mean to me it's like Oppenheimer, everything, everywhere, all at once and this as far as like the best movies like the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and Oppenheimer would be a 3 for me personally.
Mm.
So
Wow.
hats off.
Oh, high praise from both Chris and Ant there with Cynic.
And I'm a
Um,
tough critic too. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and I got to follow suit with that. I also think this is an amazing movie. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2025. I was highly looking forward to it to see what Ryan Coogler would do with this movie here. Um, and what was going to go on, and I wasn't disappointed in it. Love the look of this movie, love the performances in this movie, love the soundtrack of this film. Ludwig Göransson, who's again proving why he's one of the best composers of today in film. There, up there with people like Hans Zimmer or Danny Elfman. Absolutely amazing work. He also was with Ryan Coogler when he did Black Panther. I love the score with Black Panther as well. I think that's
Creed
amazing,
too.
and also yeah, also Creed there. So yeah, very awesome work from Ludwig Göransson there. Does he already has an Oscar, doesn't he? Or yeah, I think he already has
Can I
one.
also say real quick that the fact that all these are different genres, right? Like these are all completely. I mean, there is a through line, of course, but these are all like Creed was like rap music, Black Panther was like more African, and then this is like blues. It's like Ludwig and to me, Atticus Ross and who's the dude that from Nine Inch Nails? Those got two guys.
Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and then Ludwig to me are pushing Hans Zimmer. They're closing in, and I think it's just the versatility that they show. When Soul came out and they made a jazz soundtrack, what can't these guys do? So shouts out to Ludwig, of course.
Mm, yeah. So I think that's really amazing there. Yeah. So I absolutely recommend if you're going to go see this movie, see it in IMAX. There, I think you'll be highly rewarded for seeing it in IMAX. With that, for people who do have that option and it is available to them, is this Ryan Coogler's best film? Looking at his filmography there, I would say yes. Maybe it is his best film there. So I kind of give it. Should I give it a this is cinema? Should I give it a high peak? Uh, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll give it this is cinema. My first this is cinema of the year there for me with Sinners 2025. So this is cinemas all around for.
Did anyone else see Magazine Dreams, Jonathan Majors?
I did see that, and I love it.
It's no longer playing in theaters. It grossed $1 million.
Wow. Okay.
Why? Why y'all think that was? No, I'm just kidding.
Uh,
Sorry.
uh,
Ignore me, please.
They made like 1 million and some change.
He's fantastic in the movie. I
It's a
mean,
great film.
he's
It's a
fantastic.
great film. He's awesome, and it's very modern day Taxi Driver. But man, the controversy surrounding everything.
Yeah, maybe he needed some Joker makeup. Some Joker makeup, he probably would have done better. But yeah, I do love it. All right, so just to discuss a little spoiler talk here, get into some things. So if people have not seen the movie, it's gonna be just a little bit of a light spoiler talk there about it, just to get more into the references and the cultural things that maybe Chris and Ant watched. It's a movie I do want to see this again. So I am gonna watch it again probably Monday and go to the theater again to go see it. But yeah, Ant, is there anything? So to set up here, like I said, I didn't know how many people knew about kind of the threat of the movie going into the film. Maybe some, I don't know how what the percentage of people, how many did know it was vampires that were the main threat of this. But yes, they are the main threat of this. Jack O'Connell plays the lead vampire here in this, who is Irish, and him being Irish does play a part in the movie there because, as Chris mentioned, there's like a river dance scene that he does there, playing kind of Irish music, and then also the way he's kind of, as a vampire, the way they treat vampire lore in this is a little bit different than what we've normally seen there portrayed in movies. Here, when you once you get bit, I mean that's it. You turn into a vampire. Usually, like in some vampire stuff, there's like a whole process. Like you gotta bite some, and then you gotta like bite your vein, and then pour your blood into them, and then it takes a minute, and like overnight, and then you turn into a vampire. Here, it's just like pretty instant. Once you get bit, you become a vampire, and you kind of know all the tricks of the trade, and then you become this instant soulless demon here. With that kind of goes on. But yeah, so he plays the lead of the vampire there. That is pretty much leading this onslaught there against these people in this juke joint. Michael B. Jordan and the few survivors there, and you think like how they're gonna make it out of there. But yeah, so is there Stokes any cultural things that you really noticed with this movie that were very impactful that you saw there?
I mean, there was the infamous scene, which again I think is gonna be incredible. I think that's gonna be something people talk about for a long time. Um, and I thought it was interesting. There was I'm going on a bit of a tangent. There was this guy FD Signifier, who's a YouTuber. He's basically saying that when white people came over, they were Irish, they were Italian, they were Dutch, they were Eastern European or whatever, and everything kind of got flattened out. It became white. Like white isn't a nationality. A white is almost like an absence of nationality in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of get uniformity, and it makes sense that the Irish guy would come and be like, "Yo, I want the blues." Like that kind of tracks, and what he was pushing for was almost the uniformity, the flattening of culture, I think, and that's something I noticed. What I really liked is, like I said, I mean, he's not watching the trailer. It's like, oh, these racist vampires versus like that, and it's like he's not racist like at all. Like from what I can remember, it's more so just wanting to have access to every I mean I don't recall that much as any of that, and then he kind of was like, yo, the real racist was trying to fuck y'all over, but I got your back. He's like, yo, you want to become a vampire? And then the way he was describing it, he was like, yo, y'all's gonna get fucking killed in the morning. And it's like he's kind of arguing for like a post-racial society, and I'm like, it don't sound so bad. So that's what I noticed. There's obviously the scene that has a lot of different stuff, but I mean that it's all throughout the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really dissect it, and I think that's why I'm pleading people not to call this fucking woke, because it's paradoxical, because it is about racism, but it's not at the same time. Like that. The way that he folded that in, I thought was very excellently done.
Mm, okay. What about you?
As far as historical context goes, the film being about the blues and the way these white vampires do, and the the first guy who gets bit is the son of or nephew of the Grand Wizard. Like he's a Klansman, so yeah, it's about racism. Like come on now. Um, so the fact that they're at the door asking to join, and they say, "Listen to this," it's that cultural appropriation, cultural assimilation. Like, we want to be part in. Can you invite us into? Can we be invited to the cookout? Can we be a part of the blues? Like, it's our genre of music. You like it so much, you want to join in, but your intentions are impure. You know, it's like the Pilgrims giving the Native Americans disease-ridden blankets. Like we want to join you, but like at what cost? You know, we have to invite you in, which taps into that old school vampire lore. Vampires have to be invited in, or otherwise they cannot harm you. That's why they're so adamant on saying, like, once they get bit, their old friends are like, "Aren't you gonna invite me in?" Like, and they make the point, "You've been in and out all night long. How come you now need to be invited in?" Because he's dead. And Wunmi Mosaku playing Annie, she's the MVP of the film. If it wasn't for her knowledge of voodoo and that supernatural, or her supernatural background, they'd be cooked. You know, she knew how to handle vampires, and I like that before she knew they were vampires, even said the word vampires, it was just they are a hate, or a dark spirit. Before they pinpointed it, she just knew something's off. Can't you tell? Can't tell what? He's dead. What do you mean he's dead? Like, he's dead. His soul is trapped in him, and now he's like not himself. Like, she had all this knowledge, and to the point where she knew, if I get bit, stab me in the heart before I turn. That way, I still get to go to essentially heaven. You know, otherwise my soul is trapped in this vessel. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of history, and now that we're talking spoilers, that one scene in particular where Preacher Boy is really going in on the blues. We get it's a one shot, right? It's a one shot take of the history essentially of Black music, not just Black music. There was because we're including that the Asian couple, because back in the day, Asian people were around. Like, I like that Ryan Coogler, once again, the same way he didn't need to include Latinos and indigenous Latinos in Wakanda Forever. He didn't have to. That was a choice that he made. He didn't have to include Asian people in this movie. That was a choice that he made because he wanted to be historically accurate. There was a relationship between Blacks and Asians, back in the day, but white supremacy rules all, and eventually that relationship kind of dwindled. But I like that, that one shot take. We're getting different eras of Black music and its importance to our culture, and music is such a character in itself in this film. And Ryan Coogler is an intelligent man, and he knows his history clearly, and the way he incorporates it is seamless. He's a genius.
Can I say something real quick? I think because you said like it's about like racism, and I guess what I was trying to say, it's not about overt racism. Like the villain is not targeting them because they're Black. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he's like offering basically offering protection from the racists. So that's kind of what I meant, where it would have been very easy to make it, it's a bunch of vampire clansmen, which is something that like Lovecraft Country would do. You know what I'm saying? That's been done before. I'm trying to think of I feel like there are other metaphors like that with vampires and the races. So that's what I meant when I said that the individual is not a racist. And I think
Interview with the Vampire, it feels like the TV show that did some of that.
There was also another, I feel like I don't know, it's not that important to figure out like what exactly. This is a metaphor that's been done before, but it's more so like this guy has a gift and I want to experience because it wasn't necessarily about blues, it was about like, I guess, like just good music, I suppose. So that's what I meant. And I thought the movie was a lot better for not having him just be like, like, say the N-word or something like that. That's what I meant. Like, it's not as easy or as simple as like, these motherfuckers are racist, and he offers the characters like kind of like a deal to turn to vampires, and you're like, yeah, if my brother just fucking got murdered, I would consider it for sure. Like, you're in Jim Crow era Mississippi. Yeah, I'm sure that fucking sounded good. So that's I just wanted to elaborate on what I meant in that terms, and I think that choice is going to make it so that it's going to expose this, or I guess avoid alienating an audience This is more in the vein of Nope to me. Like if Lovecraft and Get Out are in the same lane, this is kind of like in a different lane in terms of there is social commentary here, of course, but it's also subtle enough that you won't get like, the racists all riled up.
Hmm.
Which is good because I want to fucking hear from them. So
Uh-huh.
good on Coogler for that, for sure.
Yeah. And there's a lot. You mentioned we didn't mention her character there, but you have Lee Jun Lee there who plays Grace there. You mentioned she's part of the Asian couple. They're a husband and a wife, and they also have a daughter. And you see the beginning of this movie. So very simple kind of thing of like it all kind of these two brothers who come into town. They're from Chicago. They were part of the hints that they were part of Al Capone's mob there about his outfit. They've come back to their hometown and like, hey, we got money, we got drugs, we got guns, we got
Hooch.
liquor,
Yeah.
hooch there, and we want to set up a juke joint here, make some money, set up a juke joint, and it's a lot of the first half of the movie is all about them recruiting people from the town to help set it up. The Asian couple, they go to them to make the sign. They go to Omar Benson so he can be the security guard for the place. You go, Delroy Lindow so he can play the music for the joint there, so he can be there. So all this, them recruiting all these kind of different people there to have this type of party, and then you have the guests of the party that come, people like Hailee Steinfeld, me and Chris were discussing this. I think like so her grandfather was black.
Grandfather, yeah.
Grandfather was black, and then so she's part. So in the movie that they play into this movie of how she has a black parent, but obviously she's very white passing, and she's around a lot of black people. And she was really great in the movie, Hailee Steinfeld. She was fantastic in the movie there. This one scene when she told somebody to get the fuck out of her face. She said that so quick. It was like, it was funny as hell.
The dialogue is amazing in this movie. For this to be
yeah.
written exclusively by Ryan Coogler, the dialogue and the writing is super tight. And I would find myself laughing a lot just because of the living. Like, yeah, get your ass out of my face. It'd be like almost in Atlanta where like people will speak like almost like it's like low hanging fruit in terms of humor, but it's executed so well that it's like it kind of keeps things moving really well.
Oh yeah. So I loved her in the movie there, and she's really plays the vixen really well in this. And people say Josh Allen gonna hold on to her a little bit more tighter now. You see that, and you see the press tour that they've been doing. Her and Michael B. Jordan. Very different from her and Shamik Moore. Flirting versus harassment. You see it right there. This is like, damn. You see the stark difference. It's like, okay, so yeah.
Shamik Moore don't look like Michael B. Jordan no more. There was a point where Shamik Moore was, he looked like me for.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so you see that kind of going. So their press tour has also been really great for this movie as well, the promotion of it. So yeah, you see the chemistry, and so she's with Stack. She's with that brother there. So they have this history in the past, and that's really great. But the Asian you mentioned, the Asian representation here as well, they get kind of brought in there as well. And a lot of Asian people did have a great place in the country there, building railroads, especially during that kind of 19th century, 18th century there at the time. Asian people a part of America there and their place there and things and how they kind of come in. There was something I saw circulating online there about her character Grace there. So there's a moment in the movie where she's the one that invites the vampires in, and people were saying that is a metaphor for there for like you were saying how you invite people in there and they kind of mess things up and they bring in other people uninvited. Did you think that's what that moment was supposed to represent, or
Hailee too? Really?
Yeah.
It could have, historically, the reason why Asian people nowadays feel the way they do about Black folk is because of white supremacy, and their desire to be, and the desire for whiteness. It even means taking on their hateful ideology. And you can disagree if you want to, but it's sociological research. So, fuck you. Sorry, I was drinking earlier. Sorry,
I'm drinking right now.
Yeah. Is that what you think that moment's supposed to represent there, with Lee Jun Lee's character there, Grace?
And this is when the Jordan Peele-ness kind of comes in a good way, because Jordan Peele will leave like breadcrumbs, right? So it's like you can take it that way if you want. Like her and Hailee are essentially the two that fuck things up, you know, like it. But I think where this movie did good is that they don't do too. There is a point where I think smoke is on the ground outside. I was like, nigga, if you don't get back in this, bro, you would have caught. Yo, they had to drag somebody out, bro. I would have tossed him out from fucking from the door, bro. I think you could look at it like that. I wouldn't personally because I think it's not. I think it's about communion and I don't think so, but the actual execution of how that happened was good. I mean, they gave it's like almost like hanging a lampshade. Like if you gotta have a character do a stupid thing, the way that they executed was very well and in a way that you could like almost miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that the way that it happened. So, but this is again, this is like we're in a Reddit era, so all these little I mean, it's not an Easter egg. This ain't like, what I'm saying, fucking, uh, you know, Captain holding Thor's shield or whatever, but Easter egg in the sense of something for the audience to recognize. Um, yeah, I didn't agree. I thought she was completely justified in how she felt, honestly. Like, and it's, bro,
she's a mother, and they threatened her child.
Bro, this motherfucker spoke to her in Mandarin, bro. That's insane. Which we didn't talk about the shared consciousness. That
messed with her head.
That's fucking crazy. You said she's gonna eat her pussy in goddamn Mandarin. That's insane, bro. And like, yeah, and then she had a good point. It's like, yo, like, yeah, we can wait until sun up, but what is that gonna mean? Oh, something we didn't talk about, bro. Because the way they introduced it, and this villain is chef's kiss. This is how you do a villain. I don't know why they don't structure Marvel villains like this. Like, okay, the first hour and a half, you don't introduce this guy until halfway through basically the second part of the movie, but they characterize him so well. Like he's running. They got the motherfucking Native Americans. They're like, yo, I hope you didn't let that motherfucker in. They're like, all right. Their sun starts to go down. They're like, yo, fuck. They're like, yo, there are Indians for miles. Like, they might have come from Oklahoma or some shit. They traveled far. They're like, yo, fuck this. I'm out. And they went back. So like God knows what 30 of these fuckers could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think she was right. I think she was justified. I will say the one thing that was very hard moving again, the worst part of this movie for me is when it's just from dusk till dawn, or it's like not just from dusk till dawn, but it's not doing the subversive things. It's like there's a point where he stabs through the door. And these motherfuckers keep looking through the eye hole. I'm like, what are y'all? And I get maybe it's supposed to drive tension, but like, this is a very stupid thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a horror movie thing, So,
yeah,
they did it. They were smart. Everything else they did was smart. The garlic.
A lot of people talking about her character, but I like you said, I did. I mean, her position made sense. I mean, like I said, they were threatening her kid and. Her husband just got turned and he became evil. And yeah, I mean, very stressful situation for her with that. And you mentioned the shared consciousness. So in this lore with the vampires, it kind of works the same way, I guess. In some cases, there's vampire lore where if you get bit by the vampire, then in order to kill them, you got to trace it all the way back to the original vampire. And then, that will kill the whole bloodline and things like that. So it kind of works that way here. And then I want to talk to you about something, unless I missed something, because like I said, so Jack O'Connell's character, he's the lead character, and he's the one that, he turns the first couple in the beginning, the Ku Klux Klan couple, and fuck them. And then they end up going to the party, and then they turn majority of people at the party, and then they end up doing something, but they end up killing his character, Jack O'Connell, and you see that it kills all the rest of the vampires. But there's a stinger and there's a post-credit scene here with this film. So there's two. So if you stay, so a lot of people didn't know that, but there is a mid-credit scene and then a post-credit scene with this film. And then in the mid-credit scene, you see that Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld show back up again as turned vampires. They show, Michael B. Jordan shows up in his Cosby sweater and he's got his Coogee sweater there. He's got his kid and play haircut.
1992.
It's 1992. Hailee Steinfeld.
It's not kid. So we can't watch this movie that has a lot of cultural significance. It's not a kid and play. It's got the chunk missing.
Didn't Play have that?
It was like a high top.
No, but the other one didn't the other one have that look?
Nah.
Did he? Okay, maybe I misremember. Okay, so there you got that, and then Hailee Steinfeld showed up looking like Cardi B from the Finesse music video. There you got that. And so they survived. So my question is, how did they survive? Um,
Well, that was never a thing where you kill the main vampire. They say it like if you get your turn, that's it. They didn't die at the same time because they felt the because of the silver. They felt that, but they died because the sun came out.
oh, they did. Okay, so that didn't. So they didn't die because he died. They just died because of the sun.
I just got fucking smoked. That's why I guess what's her name ran off, and then I guess Michael B. Jordan was in the damn shed. He was in the club. Can I say? I need to say. Can I say two things real quick?
Okay.
They are setting up from this fucking party. You're like, yo, up to a certain point, this would be the greatest fucking party you would have ever have been to, bro. They got beer. They playing call. Oh, you like, yo, this shit is lit. And you're watching like, damn, bro. Oh, these vampires gonna come up, fuck it up, bro. Also, young, this is Mississippi. There's a scene where old boy goes down on. Oh, you better than me, bro. Mississippi in the 30s. She said I walked over here. You know that bitch was salty, bro. You know his blood pressure went up. That's the two thoughts I had, bro. That shit was. That party was fun, and I know he needed a glass of water after that.
Very sexual movie. Very sexual
It
movie.
is.
It's a very horny movie. The movie was horny, man.
A lot
Well,
of
it's not
beautiful
Hailee
women in
Steinfeld.
here.
Bro, everybody in this cast was great, and there was a lot of beautiful people in the movie. I don't know the Asian lady's name. She was beautiful. I don't know anybody's name except Hailee Steinfeld. Unfortunately, she came in from like the 90s out. I was like, oh my god, you want to talk about peak?
The woman who played the mayor in the Batman, she was in this. Jamie Lawson. She's in this. She was the love interest for
Preacher Boy.
yeah, Preacher Boy. She was gorgeous. She was also
Yeah,
she looked
yeah.
amazing. Yeah. How was Delroy Lindo? He was amazing as always.
Fantastic.
I mean,
He was
he's
hilarious.
fantastic. He's kind of the comedic relief of the movie, I guess you could say. Because he's like the drunk, and he kind of comes in, and there's a scene where he says he shit himself, which obviously, I mean, hell, I mean, who can blame him? After
That's a
that,
completely reasonable thing to.
Almost got bit.
yeah. So, and he has a great heroic moment in this as well.
I thought he was gonna blow some shit up. He just died. I thought he was gonna light something on fire. He just fucking died. I was like, all right, man, all right, bro, all right.
But any inconsistencies with the movie for you all, like story wise? Or, you think it's pretty tight? You think everything?
B. Jordan's accent, like I said, there's a random dude that gets killed during the action scene. There's somebody's getting eaten by a vampire, but like, who could it be? Like, we know all the other 6 characters all have like they all have character moments after that. So who the fuck was that 7th guy that just got eaten on the floor? Like that shit was crazy. I mean, like I said, I'll keep saying it. When this is just a regular horror movie, this movie is not as compelling. Like they're fighting these vampires. It should be 40-6, and they're holding their ground. I know Michael B. Jordan is a fucking soldier, but what you got like a store close. She had a badass moment. The Asian lady had a fucking amazing moment. That shit was crazy. It's like a couple singers, like a drunk. And like, yeah, they was holding their own. Like that part I definitely think is crazy. And also there's beats where it's like, hey, make sure I don't turn. It's like, all right, well, there's only so many ways this can play out, right? So that the movie did become predictable at a point. I didn't expect, so that would be the only thing. I think the way that they do the lore is super creative, and even the way that they stick to the vampire thing. Like there's a kid that's like, yo, let me in, and they're like, what the fuck? And it'd been very easy for them to like let him in at some point, or I felt like there were spots where he had a lot of discipline. You don't see somebody get bitten, I think it's until Michael B. Jordan, like 2 hours in the movie, and 2 other people got gotten changed by that. I thought that was You see that old boy lift in the air.
Yo, that scared. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Hailee getting bit, that was scary because she pulled the gun when she saw the ice color change. She was like, she backed away. She turned her back, started walking. He started walking. I was like, is he gonna like chase her down? No, worse. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, and then it cuts away.
I would have shot that fucking gun in the air, bro. I'm like, yo, come help me. That motherfucker was drooling, bro. That motherfucker, yo, and I don't know what that Irish music that was playing outside, bro. You, it was incredible. Like it was like, yo, I want to go to Ireland. Y'all getting down like this? It's like, oh my god. It's kind of like for me, the first like 80% of this movie are amazing, and then there's like kind of like the climaxy bit, and then after that is really good. So it's almost like 90% of this movie to me is brilliant, and then there's like the 10% where it's like okay, like I know there was no studio interference, but it kind of felt like it, like you gotta have your climax, but it didn't
Um,
feel as inspired, I guess, as the rest of the movie.
but movie's doing really well. Box office wise, I think the previews on it have been 19.2 million so far this Friday. So that's really good, especially for hey, it's an original movie. A lot of people been craving original films. Hey, you got an original film. Right? It's better than going seeing Minecraft or something like that. So go see Sinners in theaters
People
now.
always say like, "Yo, you need to support original movies," and I've seen some really good original movies. I saw the TV Glow was good. You know what I'm saying? Like Love's Light Speeding was good. This is good, but it's like y'all are missing like the movie has to look good. Like, why the fuck would I go to see an original movie and I got like Disney Plus at the crib? I can watch Infinity War. So this movie delivered on being original and looking good, you know. And he had like the video with the film size, the aspect ratio.
Hmm.
That was incredible. That was incredible. That's probably the best piece of marketing this century. Like that
Yeah,
shit was incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, that 10-minute clip of him of Coogler talking about like film and like the different varieties, that was incredible. Like that was a great education for anyone who like did not know. And because it's him, he makes it accessible.
He
It,
and
it doesn't,
Code Switch.
yeah, it doesn't feel this was amazing. It didn't feel like you know we're being talked down to. This is someone. This is a passionate artist.
He sounded like E42. He say it's hard to get not to get emotional about this. Oh no, yo,
That's
this
that,
motherfucker's
that's
a
that
nerd,
Oakland accent.
yeah.
bro.
It's strong as thick, man. That
That California accent is all throughout this damn movie, bro. But yeah,
And the holes on the side is called perforations.
yeah.
Uh,
That's out the cougar, bro. That made me want to.
evade-
And again, I was worried. I was worried because I'm like, yo, because David Lynch and Nolan, they're big proponents of preservation. I'm like, yo, is this dude gonna get? Is the cinema? This is cinema guys? Are they gonna show up? And it sounds like they are, and I respect that. I think it's a conversation. I was thinking about this because, like, to me, I think about like Friday versus Clerks a lot. To me, Friday is the far superior movie, but and I think Gary Gray has a better filmography than Kevin Smith does as well. But they're not on the same. I was talking Jordan Peele, Ryan Coogler. They're not on the same. They're not perceived at the same level. And it's almost like you have to make an audience. You have to make a black movie for white audiences. It has to have prestige to kind of get this kind of notoriety. Which is I'm conflicted about that. Like the fact that to have a movie pop off, you really have to make white people happy. Like that's been the case for Get Out. That's been the case for a lot of these movies. But they're showing up, just making money. He gets the film rights in 25 years, which is not a long time. He'll probably be like, what, 50, 60? And he'll own the rights to his movie. That's insane.
yeah. A lot of people talking about that deal. It's a pretty solid deal. A lot of people talking about
I feel like I put some money in his pocket, like directly. This shit is lit.
that. So yeah, love Sinners in theaters now. People go check it out. We gave it all. This is cinemas all around. Um, yeah.